Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Saieed Ali, a spiritual consultant and real estate businessman. Remember, for those of you that are having spiritual problems, feel free to contact me. You know, if you're seeing shadows moving in your house, you're hearing things, you're hearing voices, feel free to contact me. Those of you who have properties to sell or looking for a property to buy, you can also contact me. If you lend your friend and your family your hard-earned cash and you cannot get it back, you have an agreement with them, and they're telling you put them in court. You know, that's the normal thing. As soon as you lend somebody money, when it's time to get it back, put me in court. You are getting none. Feel free to contact us at Real Talk Debt Collection Department, and we will be glad to assist you in any way possible. Because there's a lot of scammers out there. A lot. I have an Esther boss, but I will wait for Fire Friday. Concerning someone I aired on our show not too long back. But nevertheless, I keep it for Fire Friday. So viewers, you know we have our page up and running, Real Talk with Saieed Ali page. Like and share as we go live. That also others may know when they share it, their contacts on Facebook would know also. Those of you looking from the outside on YouTube, TT Real Talk, for those of you who do not know, friends and family, encourage your co-worker, your neighbor, if they haven't heard of Real Talk, encourage them. So like and share our page, Real Talk with Saieed Ali, and subscribe to TT Real Talk on YouTube. You would know when we go live. For those of you who are on our page, we bring to you the news and the events of the day. We keep you up to date with the news and the events of the day on our Real Talk page. So as we start off tonight, feel free to call in our studio. Our lines are 238-6716. Now we have a rerun the following morning at 11 a.m. Our live shows from 7 to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday. You know, the reason why I'm saying this is because during the day people call, Saeed, when is your live? What time it's starting? So hence the reason why I keep saying it every night. Every night. Because sometimes someone might be looking at the rerun the following day and they wouldn't know. So as we start off tonight, we're starting off with COVID cases. One of the new cases of COVID-19 was detected at a local health center. This is according to the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Roshan Parashram. He made the announcement at today's virtual media briefing.
Over the last 2 days, within yesterday and this morning, we would have had 3 additional positives. 2 positives came from, as you would have saw in the press release yesterday evening, one from returning nationals from Canada and the other one from Saudi Arabia. So there were 2 imported cases. However, there's one case that we picked up at one of our health centers, which we got yesterday afternoon. It is pending investigation. So
viewers, according to the CMO, this case was not linked to any air travel.
There's no overt or open link to air travel, recent air travel. So it is being investigated, and of course, as soon as we culminate, that investigation culminates, we'll have a better idea of what the source of that infection is.
In the light of this, the chief officers warn that parents must exercise precautionary measures with their children.
I just want to take the opportunity to remind everyone, and for clarity, there's no regulation as it relates to sporting activities. However, as we have said before, the medical advice remains, and more so with this last case that we have gotten, with no link to importation. There remains a concern for children, and we are asking parents to do all that is necessary to protect your children at this time and take personal responsibility for their well-being. So we are asking that all child-related activities be held until September, aside from the SCA and other examinations that are taking place.
So my friends, feel free to call in. We're going to have a discussion. Is it community spread? Because he said they are sure that it's nothing to do with the air travel. So if it's not air travel and no boats are coming into Trinidad and Tobago, how do we call that? The phone lines are open, 238-6716. Let's hear what you have to say. Now they say they're investigating, but they said that this one did not come by air travel. And we do not have any boats coming from any other countries into Trinidad. So common sense will tell you all, wow, is this locally spread? Let's have a discussion. 238-6716. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
As long as people coming in from other countries in Trinidad, that disease will come and spread. That will spread. And then the people in Trinidad, they're not wearing no respirator in their mouth. They walk with their mouth open in the whole of Trinidad. Go anywhere and you will see not a respirator in people's mouth. They feel like they get free now.
Thank you, caller. Now, whoever came into Trinidad, they were under quarantine. They were under 14 days quarantine. Now, the guidelines that they followed were the guidelines of WHO. So, if no persons came in from boat, and they are saying it is not from air travel, what is that telling us? What is that telling you? We are not jumping to conclusions. We are not labeling anybody. But common sense was made before books. Caller, good night.
Hi, good night.
Go right ahead.
First time caller.
Where are you calling from, caller?
I'm calling from Marabella.
Welcome to Real Talk, caller.
Thank you very much. Saeed, we have people coming across Venezuela, right? So, Erin, Moruga, and Fullerton. We have the Coast Guard regiment, we have the police. Why are they locking down that post down there? Why are they allowed to come into Trinidad? Stop them right there. Because this is how we could this virus inside. People aren't being quarantined. Get away and seen. So why our health do not look? That's a serious. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Yes, it is serious. Hence the reason why the borders will remain closed in order to combat. Now, I must thank the Prime Minister. You know they say, give jacket where the jacket is. So I must thank the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago for leaving the borders closed. Otherwise, it would have been like some other countries that are going back into lockdown. So I must thank the Prime Minister for that. So viewers, feel free to call in 238-6716. Let me hear what you have to say. Let me hear about the campaign trails in your community, about the MPs, about the councillors. Let us hear. So, we are going to tell a little forecast here. Forecasts are expecting a tropical storm to strengthen to a hurricane by tomorrow. Members of the country's first responders are already prepared for its passage. It is expected to pass north of Trinidad and Tobago over the weekend. The Trinidad and Tobago Met Office says it is continuing to monitor the system. It advised that citizens take necessary precautions. So there's a storm that is developing into a hurricane by tomorrow, and it is passing on the north of Trinidad and Tobago. So viewers, be prepared over the weekend. Today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. There's a storm developing into a hurricane, so I am letting you know, please take all necessary precautions. Get your medications, your documents, whatever it is, secure it. So in case something should happen, you have all your medicals, your documents, everything in proper places. So listen this. Health Minister Terence Dayal Singh said, nationals returning to the country are refusing to sign quarantine form. He insisted that this is dangerous. Minister Dayal Singh made the announcement at a media briefing today.
What we are being faced with those that we have brought back are demands being placed on us that simply cannot be met. We now have returning nationals who, when they are clamoring to come back, say they will sign this, they will do this, they will go there. Not all, but some, and it's again the few that will threaten the entire system, are now refusing to sign the quarantine forms. This is a dangerous precedent.
If they are refusing to sign the forms, how do we deal with it? What do you do with it? How do we fix it? How do we prevent it? What measures did they put in place? Yes, you come out to tell you that they're refusing to sign the quarantine form, but what measures did you put in place while making the briefing? Because you said anyone breaches the public health audience will be charged. That is what you said to Trinidad and Tobago. So I am assuming that you have something in place that if they refuse to sign the quarantine form, what do you have in place? What are you going to do? Because you just can't bring back somebody from other parts of the world into Trinidad and they are not being quarantined. You have to have something in place. We're going to charge them with breaching the order, the public health audience. Are you going to charge them with that? Because if they are telling me that I am not going to sign that form, well, then you will be charged. You will be charged. Because Trinidad and Tobago is at stake with one person not signing the form. Or one person not going into quarantine. Trinidad and Tobago is at risk. So I wonder if you're going to charge them with breaking the public health audience guideline. To me, that is the only thing I see you could do. It's the only thing. Unless you bring up our legislation overnight. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night.
Go right ahead there.
Good night, Mr. Saeed. If the people don't want to sign the form, well, then the Prime Minister should bring back the gathering back to 10.
I understand what you're saying. No, but remember, you're coming into Trinidad, right? And they don't know what you're coming with. They don't know if you're COVID-19 or not.
Because our Prime Minister did a very hard job by controlling the COVID.
Yes, yes. Thank you, my dear. So they need to put something in place. Once you refuse to sign that form, right there, you hold them and you carry them into a room and charge them for breaking the public health audience. Because we're not sure what you're coming with. We are not sure. So I guess they could probably do that. Now they would want to say that is against my rights as a citizen. But follow the rules and the guidelines. I'm sure the country that you were in, you are following everything. I am definitely sure. So why are you coming to Trinidad now to give the authorities and the health officials problem? You're begging to come home. They'll let you in. Why is it so hard to sign a form to be quarantined? Why is it so hard? Man, charge them. Charge them. Because one person coming into Trinidad and Tobago. One person. And we would go back into our next lockdown. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Yes, Saeed, the best policy
For them, they don't want to follow the guidelines. And if you go to charge them, first thing they go blame the government and say the government in them. So
I understand.
Is to leave them in the country where they did. Left them, don't bring them none, left them right there. Let them go get the good one, stick to the dad and get out.
Thank you, my friend. Oh God, we are what them die out. Minister Diasing also lamented that the nationals are making other demands.
When we allocate them to sites, they are now refusing to go to the allocated sites, and they are demanding to go to sites of their own choice. That is not a condition on bringing you back. We have to go to sites that have been assigned by the Chief Medical Officer, that are fit and proper to be used by quarantine, for quarantine purposes, where we have access to you by healthcare workers that are under the control of our protective services, so we have access to the sites.
So now, viewers, I would side, tonight I would side with the Minister of National Security. Not security, the Minister of Health, Terence Dialsing. You know why? Since there is this one case that did not came in by air, and boat is not coming to Trinidad as a cruise ship, which means it is local. So if this is local here now, which means anywhere that individual went, there could be a spread. There could be a spread. So these individuals that are coming into Trinidad, whether you like it or not, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, whether the government like it or not, these individuals that we are allowing to come back, even I stood up right here on Real Talk platform and asked the ministers and them to bring them in because they are citizens, they are rightfully citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. But the thing is, you're saying you're willing to sign anything just to come back home because you realize how hard it is outside there. Your money running out, you're broke, you're in an apartment building, you don't have food, you can't go to the grocery. You know how hard it is there, and you're begging to come home. So we stood up in Real Talk. We asked the minister, grant them exemption to come home because they are citizens. I even labeled them on one or two shows. But for the safety of Trinidad and Tobago, and for the safety of the citizens, if they do not want to abide by the laws coming into Trinidad and Tobago, charge them. Charge them. If you have to draft a legislation overnight. But then again, the house closed. The house closed. So the only thing you could hit them with is breaking the public health audience. Because they're refusing. They're refusing. And I go tell you something. With this COVID-19 pandemic, even though Trinidad and Tobago is functioning at least, let's say, 90%, you know the health minister still have the say? Not the health minister, the chief medical officer still have the say? He still have the say? So it is left up to him now to tell the health minister what to do. So to the CMO, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? What is your instructions for the Minister of Health? Caller, good night.
Hello, good night.
Go right ahead there.
I'm calling from Brazil. Mr. Saeed, I read about these two people that refused to sign the document.
Yes.
And the news I read is that they refuse to go in places where they want to put them. So I a story have two sides. Some of these places where they want to put them is not acceptable. All right? Now, we have a state-owned hotel, the Hilton, right? And we are citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Why don't we have the right to go there?
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand.
Why don't we find out why the people didn't want to sign the document?
I understand what you're saying.
Right? A story have two sides. People should find out the truth.
Now,
Hello?
yes? She gone? Apparently she gone there. Yes, the story have two sides, but who are paying for the hotels? And the hotels is what type of people were staying in the hotels. That is what I'm telling you. There's different categories of people. Some, now, I have a friend who stayed in the hotel. And his job is outside of Trinidad and Tobago. He would go outside to work and come back in Trinidad, and they were quarantined in the hotel for 14 days, and he would go back to work outside. And when he comes back, he will be quarantined in the hotel. That is how his job have him. He's not coming home. He's not going in no other sites, but he is going in that hotel because it's the type of job he have. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead. You're live on Real Talk.
Yes, I call from Rio Claro.
Welcome, Rio Claro.
Right. It's alleged that Mr. Rohan's daughter came from Spain with a dog, and she was on quarantine. She went straight to her parents' home in some advice, I understand. It's alleged, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. And I will tell you something. If the courts in Trinidad and Tobago, used to prosecute ministers, if the courts in Trinidad and Tobago used to prosecute senators, let me tell you something. Trinidad and Tobago would have been a different place. In China, the law doesn't matter. They do business with what position you have. In China, it's different. They will sentence you to hang. They will sentence you to life imprisonment. They will sentence you for legal injection. They will sentence you to death. They don't have a problem with that. They will put you in the square. If we had some of those laws in Trinidad and Tobago, it will be different. But we're afraid. You know why? You know why we're afraid to pass them laws in Trinidad and Tobago? Because we're friends and we family might get caught up in it. Or our behind-the-scene friends might get caught up in it. That is why they don't want them stiff laws in Trinidad and Tobago. In Dubai, it's different, you know. It's different, you know. In Trinidad and Tobago, anything working, anything is anything. I am telling you that. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Saieed.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I heard you just made a statement that give Jack his jacket.
Yes.
And you congratulate Mr. Rowley for closing the borders.
Keeping it closed, not closing it. Keeping it closed to manage the intake of COVID-19.
So how the Venezuelans coming in by parachute?
They're coming in by boat. And how they coming in? Listen, they're coming in.
But the borders didn't close then.
Thank you. They're coming in illegal. So my question is now, I think it's the day they hold some of them again last night. If the borders are closed, why no patrols? You see, coming to security? Oh, Lord. It's a different story with me, you know. Altogether is a different story, you know. But because I know about intel gathering, I know about that. I know about acting on intel and making things happen. But some of us in Trinidad and security department, we will get intel and we will do nothing. Remember the Prime Minister? Remember the Prime Minister? He had insights. He had insights about certain things and did nothing. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Ali, we have no problem with the local citizens coming back to Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
But before you bring them back in the country, they must sign an agreement.
Yes.
They agree for quarantine and agree to sign those documents until they are tested. And I want to ask the country this question: who it is dealing with the Venezuelans coming in every day, who quarantining them, and what they're signing, and it's every day they're coming in here in a massive amount.
Hey, talking about that, today I heard that the Minister of National Security was shocked about Trinidadian being involved in human trafficking. This man now got up from 5 years of sleeping. No, being real. This man now got up from 5 years of sleeping. You are the Minister of National Security, and it amazes you to know that Trinidad and Tobago, some citizens of Trinidad and Tobago are involved in human trafficking. But then you might look to say, well, I don't know about cocaine coming into Trinidad and Tobago. That's the next thing you might say. Or you might say, well, we don't know how guns coming in. You don't know how guns coming in, but the Commissioner of Police know. It's sad. It's really sad for a minister to come out and say something like that. You are shocked and amazed that the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago are involved in human trafficking. But sometimes we just hear these stories. That is one of these people now get up from 5 years of sleeping. I am telling you. I know about this years now, citizens. Smugglers smuggling in guns, cocaine, human. And he amazed. You are amazed? After 5 years of being a minister, you are amazed? Well, boy, if you are amazed after 5 years, something wrong. Caller, good night.
Hello?
Go right ahead.
Mr. Ali?
Yes, sir.
Good night. From
Good night.
Market. I went in the hospital. And I've got over 250 people sit down on chairs, stick onto one another. No sanitizer, no door in the toilet, no toilet paper, no seat on the toilet, and you name it. They are saying they should put the berry man Lego dog to bite him.
Thank you. Oh God, caller. Don't make it so hard sometime now. Thank you, caller, for your point. But it is true what you're saying. It is true. Every single day we just get calls about the health sector and why it is not better than how it was. Why is the health sector not better than 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Because this 5 years is under this present administration and the last 5 years was under administration, so that would be 10 years. So why is it the health centers and the hospitals are not better than it was, let's just say 7 years back? Why? Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead there.
I'm listening to the whole fiasco about these returning residents refusing to go where they are being put. And I just wanted to ask you, I'm trying to figure out, there are a list of sites where they are holding their quarantine centers that probably range from the Racket Center, I think, to the Cape of Hotel or Cascadia, I don't know. What I want to know, how do they decide who they put where? And if it's a fair and transparent process, I don't know if this could probably be the reason for the uproar.
She got cut off. Oh, hang up. All right. Like the minister said, there are certain centers that are stepped down. There are certain centers that are stepped down. But the thing is, you agree to come in. Why it is that you are afraid of going to quarantine? Everybody else who came in went to quarantine. Everybody else went into quarantine. That is the problem. And because of that one individual, Trinidad and Tobago could go back in a 3 months pandemic again. I am definitely sure it is better than where you were. That is what I am sure of. It is better than where you were. Because where you were, you're begging to come home. You're begging. You're sending letter for TV stations. You're sending letter for press. You're contacting lawyers. You're contacting your family. Everything. That tells me that where you were, it was worse. But now you're back into Trinidad now. You come back home now. We bring you. You touch down on the soil. You're walking through the airport. And you refuse to sign it. So I'm asking you now. If where you were comfortable, why didn't you stay? Why didn't you stay if it was comfortable where you were? And wait till the borders open back to come home. Why are you begging to come home? You know why? Because it was dangerous. You were fearful for your life. You will catch coronavirus. And you will die across there. And your family wouldn't see you. And they wouldn't say your last minute prayer. And oh God, clear way for him. And he was a nice boy. And make sure he comfortable and in peace where he. Why the hell you didn't come back and just to sign a bloody paper to make sure you're safe? You're refusing to do it? Man, charge them. Charge them. Because if you was comfortable where you was, you would have never begged and plead to come home. You see, in Trinidad, we too easy. We want everything and on the. You go in the grocery. You buy your bread. You come home. You're hungry. You want somebody take out the bread from the bread bag. You want them put butter. You want them put jam. You want them put peanut butter. You want them put cheese. You want them put lettuce. You want tomatoes. And when you're done now, they must take it off from there and they must put it in your mouth. Charge them. You don't want to go in quarantine, not a problem. Face the charges. And send them in some solitary place. Let them wait Friday. Because I will tell you something. It have countries who open up. They open up to the world. And you know what? They are closing back their borders. They are closing back their borders. I am telling you that here tonight. So my plea to the ministers, if they don't want to charge them, if they don't want to sign the paper, carry them in a room. Let somebody read them the right. You are being charged for breaking the COVID-19 policy and send them in that solitary place. You don't want it the nice and easy way? Well, deal with it the hard way. Because we as the ministers and we and those in authority trying to keep Trinidad and Tobago safe. And when they come out from there now, and they go by their lawyer now, and the lawyer carry the minister in place, I want the magistrate to ask them, why were you refusing to sign the quarantine document when everybody else come in signed it? For the safety of Trinidad and Tobago, and charge them a hefty fine. You see, unless you don't get serious, people wouldn't get serious. And there's too much of skin teeth, and there's too much of green teeth. Let me tell you something. I have a ticket about 4 or 3 months since COVID-19 come out. $11,000 to go to England. And I can't go. $11,000 just sit down in a drawer. Whoop. And it waiting right there for when? 4 months and gone now. Ticket valid for 1 year. What's going to happen? If the borders are open back until 12 months pass, what's going to happen? I lose $11,000 on a ticket sitting in a drawer. But common sense, I realize how important it is. My life value more than the $11,000 that's sitting in the drawer in a ticket. I didn't say anything. I abided by the law. Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we abided by the law. So don't tell me you begging and pleading to come home. And when you come home, you're demanding that I go here and that I go there. Man, say go the opportunity. But if they have return ticket, I send them back where they come from. Take what I'm telling you. Take what I'm telling you. If they had an organization for that, watch me, buy back a ticket and send you back where you beg to come from. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead.
I'm calling from Marabella. I want to let you know I'm a very senior citizen. And this DL thing and this Minister of Health saying that how good the health system is and this thing like that. You know, a month now they have no architect strips and no insulin in a drugstore in Marabella. And every time you call, well, we don't have check back next week or check back following week, and so you keep going. This is how we talking. This is the good service you're getting from the Minister of Health for the senior citizens in this country.
Well, according to them, we have the best health care in the world.
Health care to done people.
Health care to run from. Thank you, caller.
Health care to run from. I mean, that is real dotishness, man.
Thank you. What's your language, my friend? What's your language, please? They are children. For viewers, they are children watching also. Please watch your language. You won't like to know that your underage son or daughter sit down and a man jump up on the screen and say, so and so and. You wouldn't like that. Oh gosh, come the man. So listen to this now. We have a call on the line. Caller, good night. Hello?
Said?
Yes, my friend.
I have a suggestion. I don't know if it's going to make sense to you, but
let's hear it.
I believe that before these people leave to come to Trinidad from these countries or these islands in the Caribbean, why don't they test them prior to coming here? Why they must come here to discover that they have the COVID-19 when they come in from a country? If this government have relationship with the other country where they're coming from, before they board a plane to come here, check them out and make sure, and if they have COVID, let them stay where they are. I don't understand they come in here to discover that they have it.
I understand what you're saying. You see, well, then the government might have to pay some US dollar bills. The government might have to fork over US dollars to some other country to quarantine them. And I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're doing that at all. But thank you, caller. Good suggestion. So listen to this. Feel free to call in 238-6716. We're going on point 14. Point 14 candidate for the movement of social justice, Ernesto Cursa. I hope I pronounce his title properly. On Tuesday, claimed that there was a serial rapist in the constituency. So this is on point 14. At a news conference at the MSJ office in San Fernando, Cursa said his campaign team picked up this information 2 days ago. It is alleged this man is armed and there have been 2 victims. While a report was made to the police, Cursa wanted Commissioner of Police Gary Gifford and the head of the Southwestern Division to update the public. That is our news thus far with this incident. I will try to get some more update on it and see where it goes from there. Caller, good night.
Hello?
Yes, you're live on We'll Talk, right ahead.
Okay. I don't think that's how,
Well, I believe she ain't sure what she was going to say. But nevertheless, the Office of the Prime Minister is not revealing any more details on an alleged investigation into the opposition United National Congress by Dutch authorities. That's a big investigation. On Sunday, Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali said, in September 2015, Dutch fiscal intelligence intimidated a criminal investigation into a possible bribery committed by the Dame Shipyard Group. According to Rowley, the authorities received signals that Dame was involved in the bribing of foreign officials in relation to vessels building contract. Woo! I wonder if we have any vessels building down there. He said by January 2017, the officers of Dame were raided by Dutch authorities. Well, you know, you have to get information before you raid. You can't just raid just so. So with regards to TNT, Rowley said that the UNC, just before leaving office, paid a total commission to a foreign agent, a local partner, and a St. Lucian affiliated, some $177 million. It amounted to 13% of the $1.38 billion contract. On Sunday, while speaking about the matter, Rowley said the United National Congress Security Minister was also named in the matter. At the time of the signing, the National Security Minister was Brigadier Carl Alfonso. So my question is, we ain't going quite to the Dutches. We are leaving Trinidad and Tobago. We're talking about something right here in Trinidad and Tobago. What about the hunt and the fake oil scandal? Petrotrin did their researches and their review, and they came out with documents of the fake oil to be true, according to them. And up to this date, nothing have been done. Nothing. But all they're talking about a 1.38 billion, quite down in Dutch's authority. Huh? When we have a matter right here in Trinidad and Tobago to be solved of alleged fake oil scandal mounting to about $100 million, and that ain't fixed yet. All they want to go quite down to Dutches. Come now, man. Are we fooling ourselves? Are we using election gimmicks? Right here in Trinidad and Tobago, we can't solve it. Malcolm John thinks we can't solve it. Petrotrin and Refinery, we can't bloody hell solve it. But we're going down to the Dutch's authority. Oh God, what we have in Parliament? Puppets? Where we have people with just mouth? Fix Trinidad and Tobago and then look to go in our next country. Oh God. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night.
Go right ahead.
Calling concerning salary relief funds. This concerns the workers for the school mark fees and the school feeding program. Right? What happened? They were stopped working on the 13th of March. But according to the ministers and them, they said, well, from the week after the 20th or something like that, only they were qualified.
Yes.
Right, so that, but they are not working as yet and have been home since the 30th of March. So I don't know what you can do to help them.
Okay, let me get you straight, and let Trinidad and Tobago get you straight also. The food program for school children you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the school maxi drivers
right.
And the school feeding program workers, right? So the 30th of March, they are home. Right? Remember, when this grant, they said it was be from workers on the 20th of March.
Yes.
Right, who outside weren't qualified.
Correct.
So I don't know what they will.
So they haven't received their salary grant or rental assessment?
No, this is just for the salary relief grant.
So nobody from that organization, the school feeding, did not receive the workers?
No.
Nobody, not one?
Nobody so far who I know in the area in South.
What area in South? Feel free to call the name.
Area have not released any of yet. The maxi drivers who like normally drive the maxi and have been unemployed, they have not received any, and they applied for it until the 13th, right? They have been home, right? And they haven't received any money as yet because they say they fall out of the cut-off date.
Yes. Well, to the Minister of Finance, thank you, caller, for raising the issue. To the Minister of Finance, go back to your people and inquire about it. Because a lot of people came forward and asked me about driving school children. You know those buses and them, those private buses that they will get hired by parents to transport their kids to and from school. For the last 3 months, they were out of jobs. Some had rent to pay. Some have loan, some have, they're working because their kids go to university. They did not qualify for anything. And the government saying stay at home. Remember Dr. Rowley said, are we giving all the money to stay home? And all creating a bacchanal. What I would like for them to do, under the salary relief grant, they should publish the names of every individual that collected. And under the the rental assistance grant, they should put on the press how many people collected it. So the Trinidad and Tobago will do an assessment on the figures that they're bringing forward to them. You see, when you want to be transparent and you want the people to trust you, do the thing that people would see, that they would believe, and they would trust you. Because you cannot put John Doe and say John Doe collect 1,500 and he had no John Doe, you know. Because I will tell you something, right on Real Talk, we aired a visual snap of where someone sent to me, Saeed, we collected 1,300 when they're supposed to get 2,500. Some collecting 1,500 and they had to wait for the next half of the month to collect 500. I talk about that right here on Real Talk. Right here I talk about it. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Sai.
Go right ahead.
Right, I will be so disappointed with this population if they fall for this nonsense by Rowley for a third time. When he was in the Manning government, he started off with his corruption with Kollahat and things. He brought down that government. He became the opposition leader of the party. He spent 5 years in opposition, complaining about every single thing that the People Partnership government was doing and how corrupt they was and everybody going to get locked up. When he became now the Prime Minister of this country, for 5 years, not one person and get charged for corruption or locked up.
True.
Now, he come to the final period of his being the Prime Minister of the country, and he coming back up now with all his corruption allegations again. So for 5 years, he was the Prime Minister. You had all the resources. You couldn't charge nobody for corruption. You come now, and all in a sudden, all these cases and all this corruption taking place on the eve of an election. And this population really going to fall for this nonsense again? Yes, see this man becoming delusional. Something is mentally wrong with him. To become a prime minister, they're supposed to do some kind of mental assessment of a person.
Hey, but call, I hear this now. Sorry for cutting you, but I understand what you're saying. What you think about the Minister of National Security saying he was amazed and shocked that Trinidadians were involved in human trafficking?
Well, then he's supposed to be living somewhere else in the world. Because from the time we're small, we know that happening in this country.
Correct.
Remember all these hotels in South that they had all these South American ladies used to be coming down?
Correct.
In Marbella and in Pinal and
all over South.
Yeah, that was
Central too.
So I don't know where this man living. Remember, he didn't even know he owned stepdaughter was a drug dealer.
Well, so he said.
So how we gonna know anything?
Thank you, my friend. Hey, somebody want to know if we living like Jack in a box. You know, you have the puppet in the box and you have to wind it. And when the tension build, it is pop up and the little children start to laugh, some they start to cry, some they run around. I feel this is the country we're living in. I am telling you. But nevertheless, we are going to make it different. We are going to make it different. Let me tell you something. I am not talking for myself alone. Not myself alone. But all it takes is one individual to stand up. I am not taking self-praise, or I am not taking praise, or I am not taking however you want to call it. But all it takes is one individual to stand up and let the public know X, Y, and Z. Being a leader is hard, you know. It is very hard being a leader. That is why I just say, you see praises and running on fame and popularity and things. I just do spiritual work. God gave that to me. I didn't have to run it down. God, who blessed me with this, put me on that platform. And sometimes I just run from it. But as long as you have somebody standing, things will change. You see last year, September to December, 6 legislations, 2 bills. And even Parliament, they tried to bad talk me. But you know what I did? I light my light. I light my light. I don't care what you say. I got the bills passed for Trinidad and Tobago. I light my light and I say, Lord, when David called upon you in a time of need, you answered him. When Moses called upon you in a time of need, you answered him. I am not David. I am not Moses, but I am Saieed. And you gave me this position. And now I'm calling on you because I need X, Y, and Z to pass. Not for my benefit, but for the benefit of the citizens. I forget me because I know how to pray. I forget me and I say, Lord, I need it. Not long after, a day, 2 days after, I see my boy, the AG. Well, after so-and-so talks, I am proud to bring to you this legislations and that legislations. And on top of that, God granted 2 bills by the president to be signed. Let's talk now. Let's talk now. It went down in Trinidad and Tobago. It went down in Trinidad and Tobago. As Saieed, real talk, push for X, Y, and Z, and we get it. By the half of September, from September, my mistake, to the half of December, 6 legislations and 2 bills. And you see, watch man, it have things that are working on. Me don't care which administration in power. Me do business, which administration in power. When I light my light and I call on God, we go see who is the boss. We go see who is the boss. So listen this now. We're going on to Michaela Pandey. The Patriotic Front will start its campaign for meaningful change in TNT after the dust settles from the August 10th general election. Political leader Michaela Pandey made this disclosure on Tuesday It came 1 week after announcing that at the beginning of the party, right? 1 week after 1 week of announcing that the party won't be contesting any of the 41 seats in this election, Pandey explained that political leaders took his decision as it is not possible to do any social work during what is called silly season. Now this is from Pandey. While the Pandey is not contesting the election, she made it clear that her party is not supporting any other persons or party facing the polls come August 10th. Her party, her members, they are not going to support any other party for the upcoming general election. And I don't blame her. Now I will tell you something. This is a party in the making. We have an old party, which is the PNM. We have an old party, which is the UNC. They are seasoned in politics. Either one of them win, they are seasoned in politics. But we have Michaela Pandey coming on the set. She's coming out. And because of the date that were announced by the Prime Minister, it is very, very short. Very short. And I would agree with her. No, you're giving jacket. There are other parties, but how many of the other parties that are campaigning? How many? Nevertheless, on July 14, Michaela said the Prime Minister's sudden announcement of the election date on July 3rd made it impossible for the party to run the kind of campaign they wanted. And I don't blame her. You have 1 month to run a campaign. Before, it used to be 3 months to run a campaign. So I don't blame her. For that. So viewers, we have a rerun of this program tomorrow at 11 a.m. Also reminding you, please make a donation to the Rape Crisis Center that we want to build in Trinidad and Tobago for the rape victims. As you can see, it's every other day. Every other day, an individual is being raped in Trinidad and Tobago. And one rape victim messaged me. She said, Saeed, I was raped 18 years back. And we don't come out of it so. We don't come out of it because it keeps replaying in our mind. Every time we get close to someone, we are asking ourselves, is this going to be a replay? Is another incident going to happen to me? They don't come out of it. So hence the reason why we want to build the Rape Crisis Center in Trinidad and Tobago. But I need your help. The land is already there. I told you that. But I need your help. So viewers, feel free to contribute to the drive that we are doing. You can contact me at 238-6716 or 339-1670. 238-6716 or 339-1670. Viewers, be safe. Enjoy the night until we meet again. Ilahanta rabazuru oba illa anta. Look where you're going and hear what is taking place. Good night.